Spirits of good things, like morning waters, moving to the skin of the sea. Spirits of good, blow, blow, blow till I be, and blow till I be. Blow, blow, blow till I be. Let the water of the Spirit blow in me. Blow, blow, blow till I be. Let the water of the Spirit blow in me. Spirit of God, blow, blow, blow till I be, and blow till I be. Blow, blow, blow till I be. Let the water of the Spirit blow in me. Blow, blow, blow till I be. Let the water of the Spirit blow in me. Talk for me, oh, 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 give me life, give me chance, hold my hands, lead me down high. My uncle died, I was only 3 years. They killed my dad, I was only 2 years. I'm kissing this music for you, yeah. I hope that this music go do, some good friends in the cemetery. Broken heart, broken dreams is a song we sing. Set some pain, the food that we eat. Yeah, remember our memories when we laughed, how we played through the rainy days. Why you gotta leave? Tell me why you gotta leave. Rien pour moi, mais j'ai pas gardé tous les jours. Rien pour moi, mais j'ai pas gardé tous les jours. So I pick up my phone, I'm trying to call. 2 a.m. I'm trying to talk, but you know they talk. 2 a.m. I pick up my phone, I'm trying to call. 2 a.m. I'm trying to talk, but you know they talk. Talk for me, oh, 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 talk for me, oh. Talk for me, oh. I don't know if I'm done. I don't know if I'm losing. I don't know if I'm done. 2 a.m. 2
Fellow Ambazonians, you are welcome to this midweek show. Today we shall be talking on an important campaign in our revolution. But before then, we shall crisscross on what makes news in Ambazonia, on what makes news in the diaspora, on what makes news across the globe when it concerns our revolution. I want to use this opportunity to welcome you all who are now joining this show. For all those who are watching on Ground Zero, I'm aware that this show is also broadcasted over SBC. I was informed that it will be broadcasted over SBC. So I'm confident that a lot of our people now in your apps, in your Njoku stick, on Facebook, on your TV, wherever you are, you may be watching this show. Once again, good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are, and thank you for joining this midweek show. No matter what happens, we are always stronger together. When we are united, we are stronger. No matter the ill blood, no matter the sad moment, we are confident that Ambazonia will be free. Because there are every signs, there are every indications that we are going to be a free people. So I want you all those who are watching us, that are watching this show, to be confident that we are on the right path. Be confident on the words of President Ayok Julius Tabe, who said that this year shall be our year of recognition and homecoming. Yesterday made a number of good years when we lost Martin Luther Jr. and he was killed. We also listened to the words of Honorable Weber Joseph, who informed us that if he is being arrested, we should fight hard. When he will be killed, we should fight hardest to ensure that we stamp out oppression from our land in Ambazonia. We have also seen communiques from La République, platforms from Cameroonese. Those who go around, they said that La République has sent a general to come to the diaspora to kill and abduct Southern Cameroon's activists, Southern Cameroon's journalists also. We are going to be talking a lot about these issues. We shall talk about present scenarios in Ambazonia. But before we start, please share this show on your Facebook, share it on WhatsApp, tell friends that your humble servant Mark Bareta is live. For all those who are going to watch this show later on to come, we want to thank you all for taking your time to join us so that we can dialogue, so that we can talk, we can encourage ourselves, we can put momentum into our revolution. But we want to send a very silent message to Cameroonese and to all those who think that this revolution will fail or will fall, that we have not yet started. We have not yet started. We shall continue to do what we do best, according to our means, and as long as God has given us the energy, the manpower, and the intelligence to fight. Because we know that home is home, and home is sweet. For all those who are out here in the diaspora, they will tell you how home is sweet. There is no place like home. I would also like to come home, to move from Victoria to Cambe, to Batibo, to Fundong, to Bello, to Bongé. I would also like to visit Lake Nyos, to visit the Twin Lake in Kupe, Manunguba. I would also like to visit Dadi, visit the entire Manu. There is no place like home. That is why the diaspora will not give up. Because why out here we are foreigners, we are strangers. Why out here you cannot even stand at your own house and shout at your neighbor. Home is home. That is why we are fighting. That is why, because this revolution has met us wherever we are, we have said as bona fide Ambazonians, as born and bred Ambazonians, we shall put all our strength, we shall put all our resources to make sure we chase La République out of Ambazonia. We do not care the names you call us, whether you call us extremists, or you call us terrorists. After all, Nelson Mandela today, who is the most celebrated African and probably in the world, was once called a terrorist. Winnie Mandela, who is now being celebrated across the world, was also once called an extremist. He was accused of human rights issues during the apartheid revolution. But South Africans will tell you that because the apartheid was in itself violent, ANC and the people, they were forced to change tactics. And therefore, the Southern Cameroon's revolution, the Amazonian revolution, it is non-violent in nature. It is non-violent in form. But it has decided to match La République power by power, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. We might seem a weaker force, but like David and Goliath, God has given us the intelligence, God has given us the tactics, God has given us the manpower to ensure that as little as we are, as the little 2 cubes of sugar in a big bowl of water, we have said, we shall not dissolve. We will not dissolve. And we shall see the end point in Ambazonia. So my fellow mommy them, my papa them, my brothers them, my sister them for inside Ambazonia, you where you watch me now for Kwakwa, you where you watch me now for Ekiliwindi, you where you watch me for Mato, for Kosala, for Dadi, for Kembong, for Bashontai, for Isa Atibong Waya, for Tali, every corner for Manu, every side for Kupe Manunguba, for Konye, for Bongé, for Bangem, for Lebia Lem, for Alu, for Wabane, for Menji, inside Moyoka Ekona, Motombolombo, Long Street, Munya, everywhere across Victoria. Na my wano, na my follow, na idinao, or na church krito, wherever you are, for Moliko, all my friends and my people that visit Moliko, the one them for checkpoint, the one them for Mbwasa, for Sase, for Tole, for Bokwango, for Bongo Square, where you call it the Independence Square. People them for inside Fundong, inside Bello, inside Bamenda, inside Wum, inside Menchum, inside Nkambe, inside Ndu, inside Bali, Balinyonga, Balikumbat, everywhere for Pinyin, for Kumbo, for Oku, across the northern and southern zones. Today, I want wish you a good afternoon and thank you for being resilient. And I want to thank every Ambassador on Ground Zero for being resilient, for putting on a strong fight. And I want to seize this opportunity to send a very big message to all our able restoration fighters, all our able soldiers of the revolution, all those who have decided to sleep in the bushes because they want to make sure that they protect the territorial integrity of Amazonia. They want to make sure that they protect the airspace, the land, the sea of Amazonia. Our restoration forces, without UNA, we not fit succeed. I am calling most especially the soldiers of the ADF, the soldiers of Sokadev, the soldiers of Tigers, the soldiers of Kupe Manunguba 1, the soldiers of Red Dragon, the soldiers of Lebialem Defense Force, the soldiers of the Black Tigers, the soldiers of Amazonia Liberation Front, the soldiers of the Terminators, the soldiers of the Amber Quifos, the soldiers of Ara, the soldiers of Manu Ghost Fighters, the soldiers of Vipers, the soldiers of Black Mambas, the Scorpion team, the Bitacola team, and every small group from every community, every little self-defense group, every child, every girl, every boy, every person, where don't take upon himself to be a soldier of this revolution, where don't take upon himself knowing fully well that at any point in time, he or she can be gunned down by La Republic forces. I send a special salute. Those I have called the names and those I have not been able to call the names. You all are restoration forces. You all have one vision. And that vision is to see that we restore the state that was stolen away from us. That vision is to ensure that we arrive in Boya in one piece. Today, we send all our restoration forces a great salute. That for the few months that you have been in existence, in the history of mankind, you have shown exceptional qualities. You have within your means protect your community. You have ensured that the right of the girl child is being protected. You have ensured that hooligans and thieves don't take over your community. You have ensured that on the roadside, you do only to check the papers without collecting money from Amazonians. You have ensured that you asked for a freeway donation and freeway it was given. You have kept to every norms according to international standards. When you look at liberation struggles in the past, we hear of issues of very bad things being done by soldiers. But our soldiers have shown exceptional characteristics. They have schooled La Republic bees. They have schooled La Republic gendarmes. They have schooled La Republic police how they can be engaged in a war. Yes. And I want to call you all restoration forces, you all commanders who own these groups, if you are watching me, that please keep on being good. Protect your community. Make sure you flush anyone who is trying to exploit the community, because the people in your community, they love you. The people in your community, they are the ones to give you protection. The people in the community, they are the ones to give you food. Despite La Republic forces going around burning homes, the people, they have said that they will stick with Amazonia fighters because they trust you, because they love you. We have received various audios, various messages of those who have been checked on the roadside. They have but good news that for the first time in their life, they felt someone walking through the road when being stopped. They felt protected. For the first time in their life, somebody stopped them, but to ask for papers, to give them encouragement. For the first time in their life, nobody stopped them to give them money. Despite you, rescue forces, despite you, we don't even know how you live. We have seen videos of you asking for help, you asking for medications. We have seen it. We have seen even a video where you see how a girl child was forced to join. You see 2 able girls. We have seen those videos. We have seen that you have given a damn. You are even making videos with your face, which means you are telling the occupier that now you give a damn. You give a damn. You hide no more. Sagat. I want to specially acknowledge, to thank our rescue forces, that despite little mistakes you may do, despite operational tactics, know that you have a friend in Bareta News. You have a friend in the people of Amazonia, because you are not cowards. Because whatever you do it out of bravery. And we Amazonians, we people, sons and daughters of Amazonia, we shall continue to support you. We shall continue to give you all support that you need. We only ask you to be civil in your operations. We only ask you to look at the enemy, which is La Republic, and the enemy only. We only ask you to make sure that you don't exploit the communities as you have not been doing. We only ask you that you forget about foreign nationals, because you see how La Republic has been trying to twat the game. For now, you have our confidence. We may not know you, but we know your names. We know that there are ADF. We don't know who are part of ADF. We know that there are Sokadef. We know that there are tigers. There are Arab, scorpions, black mamas, vipers, tigers, Manu ghost fighters, terminators, in the Cree Force of Amberland, Amazonian Liberation Front. All of you, we know that you exist. And we know that in due time, you shall come forth, you shall present yourself, and you shall be absorbed into the Amazonian police, into the Amazonian army, into the Amazonian Air Force, into the Amazonian Sea Force, and whatever customs and whatever you. So we call upon you to do not give up. Do not rely on social media wahala. We call upon you to focus your idea on the occupier. Because for the 1 minute that you think, for the 1 minute that you want to deviate, La Republic are planning double. We must make sure we also plant double to ensure that we inflict pain on where it pains most. So thank you very much for joining this show. That was my introductory statement. Today, we shall be inviting an important guest. We shall talk about the Never Again Global Campaign. I shall bring in Mr. Neba Fu. He's a very, 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 very important personality. One of the persons that will not hurt the revolution, but his relationship with the UK, with so many people within the corridors of power, is very, very, very much heavy. In due time, in few minutes, I shall invite him so that he will explain to us what is the Never Again Global Campaign. How can you support the campaign? What can you do, whether you are home and abroad, to support the campaign? Because even as we prosecute the moment of self-defense era, we do not forget that we also have diplomacy to work. But we are not putting diplomacy first. We are putting self-defense first. Because it is only through the actions of self-defense that we can stimulate diplomacy. Like what Comrade Cho usually call targeted diplomacy, self-defense, and community mobilization. So these three aspects is already fully involved in our revolution. We are mobilized community by community. Each block is taking care of its block. And that is how we are supposed to do. We have activated active self-defense. We now give it pound for pound, flesh for flesh. And we are not afraid because it is our God-given right to ensure that we put in place a free Amazonia. That is what our foreparents want. Wherever they are, they may be regretting of the choices they made. They may be regretting for what they did. But we call upon them that wherever they are, we call upon, like in the African tradition, they are now our ancestors. We call upon them to guide us and guide our actions. We call upon them to ensure that they remain our gods, our local gods in the African tradition, and that we will continue to pour our libations. We will continue to call on their names, that we have forgiven them for what they did, because during their own epoch, it played against them. But behold, the hands of time has changed. Now, during this epoch, during this era, it is our time. We must not, as a matter of fact, leave this fight for our children. I refuse to leave this fight for my children to be. I refuse. I refuse to leave it. And I want you all that each day when you get up from bed, each day when you get up from bed or before you sleep, when you see a post, when you see an article, when you see whatever want to increase your high blood, a very deep breath and say to yourself that you refuse to allow this fight for your children. That you want to make sure that when your kids grow up, they should be proud of you, daddy. They should be proud of you, mommy. They should be proud of you, uncle, that yes, uncle, yes, daddy, you made a better place for us. That is what we are called upon to do. That is what you see in the Western world. They fought for their freedom. The Americans, they fought for their freedom. The British, they fought. The Eritreans, they fought. Canada, they fought. Everywhere, people are fighting for their freedom. Because everyone deserves to be happy. Because as Africans, as the whites came to take over our land and partition us, because like the Ghanaians, like the Nigerians, like the South Africans, like any other country in Africa that came as a result of colonization, Amazonia has that bona fide right given by God Almighty to be free. And we say, never again shall we allow La Republique to keep us in bondage. We say, never again shall we hold peace plant and watch how our people are being massacred. We say, never again shall we allow colonial officers, colonial administrators, colonial DOs, colonial social affairs officers, colonial delegates, colonial educators in our land to continue to hamper, to tarnish, to destroy our educational system. Yes, all of you colonial delegates of education, finance, social affairs, every one of you, all of you that you impact, you put in place La Republique structures to destroy our educational system, to destroy our economic system, to destroy our social system, to destroy everything, every aspect. You know, Amazonia, we are not fighting a unitary approach. No, it is a holistic approach. When we are fighting for Amazonia, we are fighting in fact, it involves all components: the social, the financial, the economic, everything. And we must make sure that any officer, anyone who is there, who receives instruction from Yaoundé, to make sure that we remain enslaved within the educational system, to remain enslaved within the economical system, to remain enslaved within that financial system, you are the enemy. And like you have been said, it is time to step away. It is time to step away or keep your mouth shut. Because we will not stop until we get you. We will not stop until we get you. Now this brings me to the first part of our show. We have seen how this loud, big mouth who calls himself Issa Chiroma, I know that probably now in Yaoundé, on a very big screen, Mr. Issa Chiroma will be there, probably watching Mark Bareta. All his agents are there watching Mark Bareta. You see, they say, when the gods want to kill you, he first made you go mad. La République, you will not succeed, not in this era, not when we have the new media. Now it's an era of new media, it's not an era of old media. We have graduated from the era of old media. We now in the era of new media. The youth now, they are the Android youth. We will not allow La République to control the narrative anymore. You shall not again tell lies like how you have been doing. Because the Lord God Almighty, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Joseph, is behind this revolution. You have done everything possible. You went to the extent of lying officially on your own TV that Amazonian soldiers abducted foreigners. And thank God for most of these foreigners, there are people who hate lies. And they have said that they communicate to disregard you. Now, who is the fool? Now, who is ashamed? You, La République. You have squandered the opportunity to tell more lies. We have read the communiques over BBC. We have read it on over RFI. We read it also on Al Jazeera. We read it also on Reuters. All of them are saying that you, La République, you lied. You lied that our people abducted or kidnapped foreigners because you want to tarnish us, because you want to sell an agenda to foreigners so that they can look at us in a very bad way. Oh, La République, it failed you. It failed you yesterday. It failed you today. It will fail you tomorrow. Know that we are on our phones 24/7. We also have our intelligence 24/7. We shall make sure that we use the new media. We shall use the new media to respond to you line by line, to expose your lies, to tell the world that we are civilized people, to tell the world that we are ready to be amongst the community of nations. Yes, that we are ready to be amongst the community of nations. Yes, that we are also ready to take our seats at the high table in UN as equals and participate in world peace and stability. That you, La République, you will not have it again as you usually had it. You will not have it. And thank God, your own lies, you were caught up in the lies. And that has exposed the barbarism you do to our people. And you see, our people never abducted any foreigners. We have no business with foreigners. We shall, as a matter of fact, ensure that we will be open to foreigners. We will be open to those who want to come to Amazonia to invest, because we also believe in free trade, because we also believe that no nation is an island, because we also believe that it is give and take, because we also believe that we can also relate in business-wise. So therefore, we shall harm in no way, we shall take hostage in no way foreigners whom on their own ways have done us no harm. We have other problem with you, the colonial officers, you, the Dios, governors, administrators who are in the land perpetrating this genocide on our people. You, those divisional delegates, you, those regional officers of sport affairs, social, or what you call it. You that you sit quiet and you have seen how our community from Kwakwa to Bello to Fundong to Bongé to Kembong is being burnt. You've seen how today it has been announced that Mama Edi Eyele was burnt alive. An old mother was burnt alive. That is not the first. So you all, you call yourself chiefs and fonts, you call yourself elites, you have decided to sit quiet and you see how your people are being mourned, are being killed, and you want us to fold our arms so that you know. They say when someone, they say silence is acceptance. So therefore, all those colonial administrators, Anglophone, so-called elites, chiefs, funds, who are silent within this moment of adversity for our people, you are on the side of the Republic. And therefore, we as a people, we have no pity against you. We as a people, that as you lay your bed, so shall you lie on it. Yes. And as a soldier of the revolution, we will be responsible for our actions. We will be responsible for what we say. That we are not afraid to take responsibility. Yes, we are not afraid to take responsibility. Because we know that what we are doing before God and man, before sun and water, before the seas and land, we are doing the right thing for our generation to be born, for this generation, and the right thing for those who have gone before us, marked with the sign of faith. We are doing the right thing for all those who died on 22nd September, 1st October, even as far back as December. We are doing the right thing for those people who were burnt yesterday in Bongay, 6 of them in their homes. For that Mami Eddie, for Mami Happy, and all those who have been burnt alive. We are doing the right thing for more than 40,000 refugees in Nigeria. We are doing the right thing for all those who are now in the bushes, for all those who have scars on their buttocks, scars on their faces, scars on their belly, scars everywhere on their body. As a result of a gun wounds. We are doing the right thing for posterity. And that we will not apologize for doing the right thing. We will never succumb for doing the right thing. As Honorable said, that when you kill any one activist, when you kill any one leader, we will continue to fight hardest. Because the more you kill, the more our anger stoke. The more people will rise up. And yes, to that foolish one who calls himself Atangaponji. Whether I'm sure you are watching me now. Few months ago, you said there is no Anglophone problem. And you come today in our land to tell us to lay down our weapons. You Nikompom, you Pandestawa, foolish, occultic, foolish, nonsensical ex-convict of La Republic jails. May God not punish you. Our restoration forces, they will continue to hold their arms to make sure that they protect their community from the rape, from the barbarism of what you are showing. Because, as the Lord says, that before you follow him, you must be able to carry your cross. Yes, Amazonians are now carrying their cross. And they say, he who puts the hand on the plow and look back is not fit for the kingdom of God. Amazonians are ripe for the kingdom of God. Amazonians are ripe to see a free, a prosperous, and able homeland. And we shall do everything possible within our powers to ensure that we do it. So, La Republique, you have to shut the hell up. You, Chiroma, shut up. Shut up. You, Cabo, shut up. Don't think that because when you see Amazonians on Facebook quarreling. That is our nature. As Anglophones, we are very sensitive to injustice. As Anglophones, we will condemn each other when we do wrong. As Anglophones, no, not Anglophones, please, excuse me. As Amazonians, we have this in us that we challenge authority. As Amazonians, we have the free will that do not take our social media wahala to think that we are down. No. There is no way we'll be down. Because the moment that person A is down, person B will rise up to replace that person without even an eye. And you should be aware that no one is indispensable. We shall continue to hurt the occupier. We shall continue to ensure that we put in place strategies, we put in place issues that make sure that we hurt the occupier. So today I'm talking to you, Amazonians, you soldiers of the revolution, all of you who are now watching me on social media, you that you are active on social media, you activists, you Amazonians, reporters, sympathizers of Amazonians who are now on back zero, on ground zero, who can talk, all of you restoration forces, all those in the diaspora, whether you are in Canada, you are in USA, you are in Germany, wherever you are, I want you to once again believe that we are on the right track. I want you to bury whatever you might have with you. Because like I said, it is only when we are stronger when we are united. But even being that, once in a while we shall have some innuendos coming on social media. That is why I will use this opportunity to respectfully, at this point in time, to disagree with Mr. Chris Anu. To disagree with his personal opinion. I want to separate now Mr. Chris Anu from his role in the interim government. That he knows very well that even though I speak with him often, I will respectfully at this point in time to condemn his outing in the strongest possible manner, to condemn his words in the strongest possible manner, that as Amazonians, we as activists, as leaders, we must learn when we disagree with some military tactics, with some military mistakes, we must disagree within the house. We must ensure that we don't give the talking points to the Republic, because none of us are saints. We are all humans with imperfections. At some point in time, we shall make some grave mistakes. We shall make some minor mistakes, which are based on probably poor judgment. So at this point in time, I will respectfully, Mr. Chris Anu, whom he knows that I respect very much, whom he knows that he's one of the person I admired in fact, when I listen to his voice, I admired him. That Mr. Chris Anu, I respectfully disagree with you for calling out Comrade Joe Ayaba in the way you did. That is why I've said, as leaders, as activists, we must, as a matter of fact, continue to talk within ourselves. That we must allow La Republique to make those type of statements. We must not give them talking points. We must not give them knowledge. We must not give them ideas. We must not give them the lead. Because what we do, we think that we are going against person A or B, but indirectly we are affecting the bigger revolution. We are affecting the people as a whole. That is why you could see the Guardian Post could publish whatever they publish, because the newspapers back home, they are first and foremost for money. They will pick on any story, put it in their own way to make money. Yes, that is why it happens. And that is the type of news that the people want it. So, on that note, I want to say, I as Mark Bareta, and as chairman of Bareta News, CEO of Bareta News, publisher of Bareta News, founder of Bareta News, with my writers and all those on the platform, I will respectfully, at this point in time, disagree with Mr. Chris Anu. That I know that he meant good. But I hope that as leaders, wherever you find yourself, we shouldn't make again such a mistake. We should pick our phones and call each other to say, why do you do this? Why do you do this? Stop this. Don't do this. I think next time, do like this. Because we all have fallen short of the glory of God. And we all are sinners. But as far as I know, La Republique is a bigger sinner. La Republique is a murderer. La Republique is a killer. They continue each day to lie. They rape our women. They rape our culture. They rape our educational system. They continue to lie against the revolution. They continue to keep our leaders Siku Ayojostabe, Paratasan, that we don't even know if they are alive. And the rest, Barista Shufai, all those 10 who came from Nigeria to Cameroon, we have not seen them alive. They continue to keep Ben Terence, Mancho, BBC, Martin, Conrad, all those in jails. There are more than 400 in Boya. There are more than 100 in Yaoundé. And there are more in Douala. And each day, they continue to burn our communities. Those are murderers. Those are the terrorists. Those are people who are doing this. All of us, whether from which group to which group, we are freedom fighters. We are activists. We are all been pushed to react. To react, and we will react hard. We will react the way we did. And so now, this now brings me to officially bring in now our comrade want to talk about the Never Again campaign. The Never Again campaign is a very strong campaign. It's a campaign that will seek to meet the Pope. It's a campaign that will meet politicians within the corridors of power in UK. It's a campaign that will bring in President Kigali, whom his own country has suffered what we are suffering now. Because if you burn people alive in their homes, that is genocide. If you go to communities and you burn homes, that is genocide. At first, when Ben Muna, in a few months back, said there is genocide going in Amazonia, we thought he was joking. Yes, there has been a cultural genocide, that they raped our educational system, that they raped our legal system. That is a cultural genocide. There has been a language genocide, that in our courts, we are forced to speak in French. That in our schools, our children will study in a language, whether it's French or English, they don't even get it. That we bring in Francophones, Cameroonese, who can even speak the language to teach our kids. There has been a language genocide. There has been an economical genocide by destroying every aspect of our economy. They destroy our power camp. They destroy everything, our banks, our system. There has been an economic genocide. There has been a societal genocide by making sure that our parents will leave Jinikijim to Yaoundé for pension, and they might die along the way. Yes, there has been a societal genocide. There have been also a genocide in the sense that you get into the army, it's on the French. You get into the police on the French. Yes, they have pushed many of us out. There are many of our people who are now in Dubai, many in Thailand, many in China. They don't go to Dubai, they don't go to Thailand because they want to go. No, they went there because it's not working home. It's not working home. So there has been a societal and economical genocide. And now as we are talking, there is active physical genocide in which the kill is started as far back as in December 2016. When you shoot people with a gun deliberately, that is genocide. Kofi Annan said it, that it takes one to kill one person. He said that when you kill another person for having a different view, that is genocide. Genocide, it doesn't mean there will be some mass grave somewhere. No, there is a physical genocide going on in Amazonia. And we said never again. And we said never again shall we allow the economic, social, financial, societal, and now physical genocide to continue. That despite being a minority, that despite us not having enough funds to prosecute this revolution, that we will continue to make sure that we Amazonians, we will be the primary investors of our revolution. That is why you can see the interim government going around begging people to fund my Boya. That is why you can see the Yabas going around begging people to fund the Changshus. Because we have no government. Because we have no people to help us. We Amazonians, we are the primary investors of our revolution. That is why you could see President Sako going from platform to platform, talking about people to fund my Boya. That is why you will see always ADC, ADF come out with Changshun, Sokadev begging that fund them. Because we are funding our revolution and we proudly say it, that hit our lips, that we are funding our revolution. And because we fund our revolution, we shall determine the outcome. And the outcome will be one that will make Amazonia to be a free land. That we will not be captured in a type of a deal that will say make our people to perish. So now I'm going to bring in our able Mr. Neba to talk about the Never Again campaign, how you and I can contribute, how you and I can ensure that we continue to push this revolution ahead. Oh, that is our duty. Our duty is to ensure that we continue to protect the revolution. Our duty is to ensure that we do everything possible to protect this revolution and its occupants. Our duty is to ensure that we protect each other. You protect me, I protect you. Our duty is to ensure that we will not allow all those on the 22nd of September 1st October, all those now in the bushes, we will not allow them to go in pain, because they have suffered enough. And we say never again that a poor mother, will in her sleep in that a poor mother in her sleep, will be burnt alive. I'm trying to recall what that mother, it could be my own mom. I'm trying to recall her screams. I'm trying to recall how she was begging for help. I'm trying to recall, maybe she was trying to get up from wherever she was, trying to run. I'm trying to recall the pain. It's too much. And we say, never again. Never again shall we allow that to happen. Never again. We will not. Never again. Never again we shall allow that to happen. Never again. I would like to bring in our person to I would like to invite now Mr. Emmanuel Neba. Mr. Emmanuel Neba to join us. Where is okay, I'm going to bring in now all right, I'm going to bring in now Mr. Neva. He's going to talk more on on it. I hope he joins us soon. I'm going to invite Mr. Neva through. I've sent an invite. He should accept. What's happening? But where's let him give a. I don't see him spell it. Or let him comment. Let him comment my post. I might just bring. Okay, let me. Okay. Let me invite. I've invited him. I've invited him. Let him come in. All right, please. I'm going to bring in Mr. Neba and his friend to talk about the Never Again campaign. They are going to be joining us soon. Yes. So never again shall we allow that to happen. So we must do everything in our power to ensure Hello.
Hello, Mac.
Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Do you read me?
I can hear you, Mac.
All right. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for accepting to be part of this show.
Thank you for having me, Mac.
Yes.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak my piece.
Thanks for joining. You, a lot of Saudi Cameroonians, have been wondering who is Mr. Neba Emmanuel. I have not been able to explain to them because I'm sure they have seen popular activists, they have seen people who have been writing or so, but a lot of Amazonians are behind the scene. A lot of Amazonians are there who are doing good works, who are doing very good works in terms of this revolution. So, please, can you just, in a very brief statement, tell Amazonians who you are? They will really want to know.
Yes.
You are on, sir.
Hello?
Yes, you are on.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. I want to say hello to everyone who is watching us this evening. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to be part of your program and for me to speak my piece. I have been following events back home for a very long time. In 2008, I did a barefoot walk in the UK for 17 days without shoes. I was admitted in the hospital after the 17 days because my feet were covered completely with blisters. But many people wanted to find out why I did that. I did that because I thought it was time to have access to the corridors of power in the UK, to have access to the British Prime Minister, to the Foreign Secretary, and so many others, so that we might be able to have information about Southern Cameroons and why Southern Cameroons is the only former British colony in total neglect.
Mm-hmm.
And that allowed me to meet the British Prime Minister, for me to meet the Foreign Secretary then, and for me to meet a number of members of Parliament. And it in a way, it also paved the way for me to travel to Cameroon with a delegation from the UK. We traveled to Cameroon, we had meetings with traditional rulers. I was actually made an ambassador for peace by the Northwest Funds,
Mm-hmm.
Who gave me the mandate to do everything that I can to find information about why the events of 1961, 1st of October 1961, led us into where we find ourselves today. And so I had in-depth consultation with senior government officials. I had meetings with Minister Jules Dorendongo. I wrote 2 letters to the head of state, one through the governor of the Northwest region, Governor Lele Lafrique. I wrote another letter to the head of state through the Secretary General at the Presidency, Ferdinand Gongo. I later took a delegation of the paramount traditional rulers, the traditional institutions that played the most pivotal role for the overwhelming yes plebiscite vote. I took a delegation of the paramount rulers to meet the Prime Minister Prime Minister Philemon Yang. I told the Prime Minister that there is an Anglophone problem, and I think it's very important that the government put in place an independent commission for equal opportunities to get into the bottom of the problem, to make Cameroonians have a sense of belonging. The Prime Minister said that there is no Anglophone problem. And that meeting, we had in attendance the Director of Cabinet at the Prime Minister's office, and the Prime Minister asked him to issue or to give 500,000 francs to each of the traditional rulers that were present for them to pay their transport home. And so, as a matter of fact, this problem would have been resolved long time back. The present Minister of Territorial Administration, Minister Tangan Jipo, I had meetings with him on 2 separate occasions in his sitting room about the Anglophone problem. That was way back in 2014 when, everybody thought that everything was fine with Cameroon, but he said there is no Anglophone problem. And all the proposals that we made to the government were all rejected. And so when we see what is happening today, when we see the killings that, is happening, when we see the kidnappings, when we see the torture, the genocidal violence, this is something that would have been long avoided.
Okay.
And so,
all right, Mr. Deba.
Yes,
Mr.
Mac.
That background is really important, because I am seeing where you are coming from a background of trying everything within your past, everything within your own connection to ensure that this was resolved. 2004, 5, 6, 14, 15, you tried, it failed. Now we are in 2018, and you have seen how this revolution has morphed. Recently, you wrote a book about the Saudi, the refined history about Southern Cameroons. But we know that we have a lot of other history textbooks that are presently in Cameroon's educational system. Of course, we know that those ones are ones that have been tailored by the regime in place. Can you give us probably a 1 minute overview of what that refined history that you have written, and it is over everywhere now in Amazon? Can you give us a 1 minute, just very short, what that refined history is all about, before we move into the crux of the day?
The unrefined history of Southern Cameroons is a comprehensive compilation of our history from the days of, I would say, from 1884 to 1984. It talks about the territory that was first inhabited by indigenous people, indigenous Africans. And then Alfred Secker came. Alfred Secker discovered Victoria and the surrounding Ambas Bay colony. Before the Germans came, 26 years before the Germans came to that territory, Alfred Secker was there, flourishing in scripture. And when the Germans came, Alfred Secker and the Baptist missionary team, they surrendered everything to them. And so that is how the Germans took over for 33 years. When German Cameroon was partitioned, we should all remember that German Cameroon constituted territories that today belongs to Chad, to the Central African Republic, and so many other countries. But when German Cameroon was partitioned, what is so unique is the fact that the British got 20% of German Cameroon and the French 80%. The British decided, for administrative reasons, to divide the 20%, that's British Cameroons, into Northern Cameroons and Southern Cameroons. And I would just like to draw your attention to the fact that after being part of Nigeria, British Cameroon was merged into Nigeria. We were yes, but because of the discriminatory attitude of Nigerians, that they will lead a campaign from Nigeria. And they decided that they will do everything to have a Southern Cameroon, an independent Southern Cameroons. But because the British were adamant that Southern Cameroons should, that British Cameroons, that's the Northern Cameroons and the Southern Cameroons, should remain part and parcel of Nigeria, they decided to take off the third option.
Hello? Mr. Neba, are you there? Hello? It seems net disturbing is disturbing. I hope Mr. Neba joins back soon so that we can talk on the issue that matters, the Never Again campaign. Let me try to see if I can bring him, if I can bring him on. If I can bring him on, I hope that the internet connection. Oh. All right, we'll see if you can join again. Please, Mr. Neba, if you are watching or Kwame Mukong, please just type on the screen, so that I can invite you back. It's important that this message is important, that people get this out. The Never Again campaign. If you are watching, please, Mr. Neba or Mukong, just type on the screen so that you should be able to invite you again. People are eager to know this very short campaign of the Never Again campaign, what they can do to be part and parcel of it. Let me see if I can invite him again. Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you, Mark.
Please, we'll just go straight. We'll go straight to the issue. Never Again campaign. Never Again campaign. We learned that you started the Never Again campaign to call the attention of the president of Rwanda. You called the campaign, and we learned that you have said that from today you'll be walking barefooted until the independence of Southern Cameroon is achieved. Please, Amazonians want to know, what is this Never Again campaign? How can they get involved? What are you people doing? You have the floor, sir.
Never Again campaign is a unique opportunity for us to take this issue to the international community. The Never Again campaign is a campaign it's a campaign to remind the world of the vow that world leaders made after the Holocaust and after the genocide in Bosnia and Rwanda, that never again will they stand by and watch people being massacred. Never again will they stand by and see ethnic cleansing taking place. And so the campaign, the 1 million petition, is in honor of the 1 million Rwandans that were killed within a period of 3 months. And we want to say that we don't want that to happen in the Southern Cameroons. We want to say that we have an opportunity to call on President Kagame, who is the current chair of the African Union, the only person that has been able to stand up against French imperialism, against French colonialism in Africa, the only person that has been able to witness firsthand what genocide is truly about, to be able to take the Southern Cameroon case to the International Court of Justice. Why the International Court of Justice? We should all remember that on the 21st of April 1961, the General Assembly of the United Nations passed Resolution 1608. According to that resolution, we, the Southern Cameroons, were asked to get into a union with the Republic of Cameroon. Now we want the International Court of Justice to be able to interpret that resolution so that we know whether Resolution 1608 that allowed Southern Cameroons to be to join in an association with the Republic of Cameroon, whether it actually stipulated that that union should be two states equal in status, or whether that union should be annexation and assimilation. That is why we think that it is very, very important that we know the truth about Resolution 1608 of 21st April 1961. And so we want to call, yes.
Yes, actually, we know that Resolution 1608 gives Southern Cameroons the power to be independent, to be independent, and there is a lot of mix up within that resolution. So never again campaign. How will Southern Cameroons get involved in this campaign? What are you telling those who are now watching? How can they get involved with this campaign to ensure that the president of Rwanda, who saw genocide going on in his own country, will take actions to stop what is happening now in Amazonia?
Mark, as we speak, there are some of our brothers and our sisters in the bushes. As we speak, we have more than 40,000 refugees in Nigeria. As we speak, some children don't know whether they'll ever see their dads, their moms alive again. As we speak, we have women who are giving birth in the bushes. This is an opportunity for us to tell the international community that the time is now for something to be done. We know that the United Nations has failed in so many places, whether in Syria, they failed in Bosnia, they failed in Rwanda, but we will not allow them to fail this time. We want to make the world to know, and that is why we are calling on congressmen, lawmakers in the United States to endorse this opportunity for this issue to be referred to the International Court of Justice. We are calling on members of the British Parliament to support. We are calling on some other African leaders to also support. We are going to be having a number of campaigns starting from the Vatican to 10 Downing Street. We want to do something that has never been done before. And that is why it does not cost anything. All we need is for people to sign the petitions. Encourage your friends, encourage your neighbors, encourage your colleagues. Just sign the petition. We are signing this petition on behalf of all those who are dead. We are signing this petition in memory of those whose voices cannot be heard. We are signing this petition on behalf or in solidarity with all those who are in jail. There are so many, close to 500 of our brothers and sisters in jail. And so it is a unique opportunity to take this matter to the International Court of Justice, because we believe that over and over again, the inclusive dialogue that we have been seeking from Yaoundé has not been coming. The genuine inclusive dialogue that would have resolved this issue long time ago is not forthcoming. I want to make another point here. In 1961, when Northern Cameroons voted to be part of Nigeria, to remain part of Nigeria, President Ahidjo challenged that decision. President Ahidjo claimed that Northern Cameroons is or was part of the Republic of Cameroon. And with the backing of France, that Ahidjo took the case to the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice ruled against Ahidjo. The International Court of Justice made it very clear that Northern Cameroon has never been part of the Republic of Cameroon. That is established. So, if Northern Cameroons has never been part of the Republic of Cameroon, then Southern Cameroon likewise has never been part of the Republic of Cameroon. The truth about this issue is that when Southern Cameroonians decided that they will fight, they would do everything to leave Nigeria after 45 years, they embraced the Republic of Cameroon as brothers. And when we see the things that have been happening, when we see how students are being robbed in mud, beaten, people arrested, I mean, we have something that is now called doorbell fever, where people are scared whether the bells will be rung, in the middle of the night. These are things that a country is supposed to be at peace with each and everyone who is part of that country. And so
Mr. Neba,
we want to go to the bottom to the bottom of this issue.
Let me come in there. I want to flow from the fact that colonial President Ahidjo of La République took Northern Cameroons to international court, and international court ruled that Northern Cameroons has never been part of Cameroon, right?
Yes.
So they never again campaign is also on that basis to push diplomats around the world, to push especially the president of Rwanda.
Mark, the truth is that the unrefined history of Southern Cameroons. Let me say something. Let me go back to the unrefined history of Southern Cameroons. When I met authorities in the UK, when I met senior government officials in the UK, and I began asking questions about Southern Cameroons, and I was told that there is adequate information on the ground. So I had to talk to government officials in Yaoundé. I had to talk to people like Mama Foncha, late Chief Endele, Minister Kankolo. I had to talk to all these people. I had to distance myself from the Southern Cameroon National Council. I had to distance myself from that organization because I needed to be neutral and to get access to every information that I will need from the government in Yaoundé. And so I had in-depth consultation. I spent time at the Fumban Palace with the Sultan, asking questions. I spent time with Mama Foncha recording. I spent time with Molanjo Litumbe. I spent time with all these people. I've talked to all the luminaries of the Anglophone struggle. I have been to Enugu and Ibadan in Nigeria. I've been to the United Nations. I've pictures, some that people are seeing for the first time about our history. The truth is that we have allowed some people to equate Southern Cameroons to Biafra. We have allowed some people to equate Southern Cameroons to Catalonia. This is wrong. Biafra has always been part of Nigeria. Catalonia has always been a part of Spain. But Southern Cameroon has never been part of the Republic of Cameroon. That fact is established. And so what we want to do is for there to be inclusive dialogue. The first thing is the dialogue must involve the people that Southern Cameroonians have embraced as their leaders. as their true leaders, and many of them are in jail. And so we want the international community to ensure that those people are free to be able to be part of that dialogue. Another very important thing is that we want to ensure that the international community know that we are not Biafra. We are not Catalonia. We have our own history. Before Southern Cameroons joined the Republic of Cameroon, it had a government, it had a prime minister, it had a parliament, it had a house of chiefs. These are facts that are established. And so it is time for us to tell the truth, because it's only the truth that can set our people free. The killings can go on and on, but we must come to dialogue. And it's only going through solving the problem by going to the root cause of the problem that we are going to have peace in our land. And so I think this is a unique opportunity for everyone to sign the petition, because we need the petition to go to the International Court of Justice. I know that so many people are saying that some people have tried in the past to take the matter to the International Court of Justice, and the case has been, and the case was thrown out. Yes, an individual cannot refer a case to the International Court of Justice, but a government can do that. And that is why it is a unique opportunity for the government of Rwanda to do that on our behalf. Because the International Court of Justice, just as it did with the case concerning the Bakassi Peninsula, it will be able to do it again for Southern Cameroon, so that we have a ruling that is fair on, for all the stakeholders.
Yes, Mr. Emma, thanks very much for doing this. I understand that. You understand that why this Never Again global campaign is going on. I would like that, because I would like you to incorporate the word negotiations in your talks ahead, because we are saying that we have gone apart from that talk of dialogue. Dialogue means we are going to talk about something else. We are talking about negotiations. So I would like that henceforth, going forward in your Never Again campaign, when you meet leaders of various countries, when you meet those diplomats in your coffee breaks and so, you should also try to add your voice, make them to also to understand that, like you have said, we are unique, because we can be comparable to Biafra, we can be comparable to even Catalonia, because we have never been part of Cameroon. Legally speaking, everything speaking, because what Cameroon has done with us is just about annexation. In fact, they are next us. We are like another colony. So now you've started the issue of walking barefooted. What does that signify? How do you intend to go about the barefoot campaign? Who are those to join you in the barefoot campaign? Where will you go walking on barefoot? What is the raison d'être? What is the reason behind this barefoot? Is it to tell the world that there is genocide actually going on in Amazonia? Is it to tell the world that they should make fast and make haste to initiate a negotiation platform where leadership of the Amazonian Revolution can negotiate with La République, with the third party? What is the barefoot all about?
Mark, when we look back history, we realize that some of the giants that were able to overcome brutality, that were able to overcome colonialism, that were able to overcome man's inhumanity against man, the likes of Muammar Gandhi, the likes of Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, they were ordinary people with a heart for humanity. And so when I think of somebody like Muammar Gandhi, who decided to go without shoes to get the people of India free, it is an inspiration. some of these people, they never allow the limitations that society placed on them to stop them from doing the things that are right. They never allowed the fact that what they wanted to achieve had not been achieved before, frightening them from giving it a try. And so we have to try everything and do whatever we can to make sure that we get the truth about our history out. We get the truth about the things that have been happening for close to 60 years for the world to know the truth. And it's only through that means that the international community can start listening, because if we look around, we will realize that so many young people have been radicalized. So many young people, when this crisis began in 2016, people were not talking about independence. They were not talking about secession. All they were asking for is an opportunity for fairness. But because the heart of the authority was so hardened, it actually, responded in a very brutal way. And so many of our communities have been radicalized. And now they are fighting to defend themselves. They are fighting, they are beginning to fight back. This is something that would have been avoided. And so the Never Again campaign is an opportunity for people to support in wherever they are. I heard somebody saying the other day that he will be going downtown DC without shoes to stand in front of Walmart and to share flyers to get people to sign the petition. Others are saying that they're going to attend conferences without shoes. This is an opportunity. People have different ways of embracing the campaign, but the primary goal is the signing of the petitions. I want to make it very clear that in 2014, I went to Boya. I went to Boya during the reunification, during the 50th anniversary celebration of reunification. I went there in my capacity as ambassador of the Funds of the Northwest, together with the Fund of Mancon. The reason why I was there was to listen to some of the historians talk about our story. I remember the arguments that were taking place with Molanjo Litumbe there. And that enabled me to be able to put together some of the misconception that has been going on. And so some of the people who say that it is time for us to go past, having the knowledge of our history. Knowledge is power. It's only when you have that power, you know the truth about where you're coming from before you can know where you are going to. And so, as you rightly said, that it's not about dialogue, that you've gone past the time of dialogue. Yes, that might be true. But what I am saying is that it is time for the International Court of Justice to be the one to decide the outcome of this crisis. It is not time for any other person but the International Court of Justice, because the ruling, the interpretation of that law, the interpretation of Resolution 1608 will be the final decision that will allow the people of Southern Cameroon to decide whether there is a referendum for them to decide where they stand, or whether there is outright secession. It's not up to me. I'm not qualified to prescribe what the wonderful people of Southern Cameroon want. It will come from the International Court of Justice. And so I strongly believe that we have a unique opportunity for the International Court of Justice to bring this crisis to a permanent, a permanent solution.
Yes, yeah. I think while we call on people to seize the opportunity to sign the petition to force the hand of the president of Rwanda to take our case within the international court or within any other structure, we as a people, we are going to take actions to push, because you accept that the international community, they react according to what is happening back home. The current events, the current actions, the current things are happening will tilt or alter the way because if in the past, if ICC in the past is supposed to the case for ICC in the past, if in the past they didn't react, if even today, if the ambassador of US is even inviting those people that he invited for a round table discourse after how many years, if they are coming towards the corner, it is only because in Amazonia, back in Southern Cameroon, certain actions are going around. So why I accept with you, I also agree that our actions on ground zero, what we are doing, our block by block strategy that we do to flush out the occupier will, of course, because we say there is no diplomacy without action. Action only trigger diplomacy. We are not ruling out diplomacy per se. It is there on the back of our mind. That is why Amazonians will have to make sure they go to the Never Again campaign. They sign it. You need to sign and forget. Sign and forget. And then it goes that we have millions of petitions. That why by the time they receive it, and by the time they want to look back, let's look at what is happening in that place that they are saying things are happening. They should see things happening. That's the only way they are going to react. That's why we talk of active self-defense. That's why the Indian government talk of the era of self-defense, because they too have come to realize that it is only through self-defense actions that will push the hands of the international community. So I'm happy that you took upon yourself to come to this platform to talk to people about the Never Again campaign, and the fact that you are also walking on barefoot to because when someone sees you in the street walking barefooted, the first thing is, why is man barefoot? Through that talking, you can explain what is happening in your land. Genocide is actively going on. So I want to thank you for taking your time to come to this platform. And for those who are watching, please, I was saying that please take this opportunity. Make sure you sign the Never Again petition. If you can't contribute, if you can't do anything, just sign and leave it. That's all. Mr. Never here, he has a system in place. He has a lot of...
Mark,
yes?
Mark, I just want to reach out. I want to reach out to Minister Tanganji Paul. I want to reach out to the government. I want to reach out to the Prime Minister. I want the Prime Minister to remember that I came to him in 2014 with a delegation. I pleaded with him. That meeting lasted for over an hour, 30 minutes. I pleaded with him that there is a problem. And if the government does not do something about that problem, we will be another Rwanda, or we will be another Central African Republic. I remember His Royal Highness, the Fon of Balinyonga, telling me to stop, not to talk. But I continued talking because it was something deep down in my heart. I think the Prime Minister remembers that. I pleaded with him that after that meeting, we went and we had another meeting with the then Minister of Territorial Administration, René Emmanuel Sadi. We pleaded with him that this problem should be resolved. Look at where we are today. We are in the blink, we are at the eve of a genocide. It is going on already. We have people dying in the bushes.
Mr. Emma,
and so
let me just add this flame into your voice. In 2014, most of us believed in one Cameroon. Not only you. In 2014, most of us in the diaspora, we proudly put on green, red, yellow, and they walked around. In 2014, like you said, you met those people that you met. You met them when nothing was even happening. But we could maybe probably tell you that you were a prophet. A lot of our people had prophesied that fix this thing. But La République and its agents, whom some of them are the so-called Anglophones, they are responsible for where we are today. And the Lord God continue to harden their hearts. As they keep on to harden their hearts, now you see, I just told you that we have skipped that stage of dialogue. Because now our people are not talking of negotiations, that no more dialogue. But again, let me also see the opportunity before we end this show, that I know that La République, the agents are watching, that at this moment that we are calling for negotiation, I want you, Mr. Emma, I want you to reason with me, because probably you understand where I'm going to. You know that in any issue, now we are saying that they should negotiate. They have now the power to call the interim government, call other leaders of liberation groups to sit down and talk with other groups to see how they can negotiate. After, of course, meeting those normal conditions, there are first baseline for every dialogue, or call it for every negotiation. There are conditions which must be done. We are saying that they have to first of all make sure they demilitarize Amazonia, right? And they make sure they release to the one soul. Those are the two most minimum. We don't even need them to apologize for what they have done. We don't need them, because we don't need the apology. We don't need the apology. But we need our people in their jails to be out. We need to then take their military out. Then we can now see where the UN is coming to sit down to talk. Now, I'm also sending another prophecy that today, those who are watching, I want you they should listen. That now, at this point in time, they have the opportunity that they can call their Kwangas, their Yabas, the Bows, the interim government and the rest, even those in jail, to sit down and talk. Because in the next few months before the end of this year, if they don't do that, there will be warlords in Amazonia. We will have warlords, people who control Bongé, people who control Kumba, people who control Ekonda, people who control Bello, Fudong.
Oui.
And at that point in time, when you say you want negotiation, if interim government goes, Ayaba goes, Akwanga goes, and few other people go, if these warlords, people who are controlling localities, if they are not there, it will not work. I'm sure historically, this is true. I don't know if you agree with me. This is true historically.
I must say that what the people are doing on the ground, they have been pushed to do what they are doing, defending themselves, because they never called for this. We all know we have watched over and over the things that are happening. Instead of dialogue, the response is war. And so when we see young boys being at the verge of dying, the only thing they know how to do is to defend themselves. And so the government, Yaoundé, has pushed the people to the walls. And what is happening now is as a result of the failure of Yaoundé to bring inclusive dialogue that the time has long passed. And we must all remember that the young boys, whether in Kwakwa, whether in Batibo, whether in Com, these are young boys that were asking just for a fair opportunity for them to be part of a country that their forefathers, their parents fought so hard to leave Nigeria to be part of. And for the government to respond the way it did is very, very shameful. It's very, very shameful.
Yes.
And that is why it is for each and every one of us now, more than ever before, to tell the international community that if you don't come in and do something now, it will be late, because the genocide is already going.
I have made my prophecy, and I stand by it, that as they rejected dialogue years back, or 1 or 2 years back, we are at this stage. Now we are saying that there should be negotiation. And the international community, I know that they are also watching me. I am now saying that there will be a moment in this revolution in few months. It will not be long from now. In few months, 3-4 months from now, there will be people, I call them warlords, people that will have control over their area, and people that have control over their area, they will have to sit on that table. And when that happens, negotiation becomes difficult. We'll have more hardliners. So it is on the interest. It is on the interest of the colonial government to go for negotiation as soon as possible.
Exactly. Because Resolution 1608 granted Southern Cameroon's independence. And so we must always remember that Resolution 1608 granted Southern Cameroon's independence. And that independence did not mean annexation. That independence did not mean assimilation. Because when we look today, there is no Southern Cameroons. It has been swallowed. And so it is for that reason that we are saying that the international community must know the truth about our history, must know the truth about the things that have happened to us for close to 60 years. And the interpretation of that resolution will lead to everybody accepting that Southern Cameroon was an independent country. Southern Cameroon had a government, had a prime minister, and Southern Cameroon had a parliament with the House of Chiefs. And so these are things that have been over the years the narrative has been changed, and we want to change back that narrative and let the international community know the truth about us. Because it's only the truth, as I said, that can set us free.
Thank you very much, able comrade. Thank you for joining this show. I shall also work in line with you, with your team to bring forth.
One more thing, Mark. I just want to invite the chairman of the campaign, Kwame Mukong. We all know Abel Mukong. You're one of the Southern Cameroon leaders who stayed in jail under the Ahidjo regime for a very long time. His son, Kwame Mukong, is the one chairing the campaign. So I'll just ask Kwame to come and say something. Please, Kwame, come and say something to you.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Mr. Kwame Mukong.
Yes, Mark. How are you, sir?
I'm good. You are welcome. First and foremost, let me first of all send our sincere appreciation for the work that you are led that did, for the thing that he went through. We recall that you are led that he is a figure, a big figure for our revolution. That is why the interim government, that is why the president of the interim government, who is now nowhere to be seen, named my 17 Albert Mukong Avenue. In fact, from my 17 right to Bongo Square, that stretch was named as the Albert Mukong Avenue. And we know that in some few months to come, because this year is my year of homecoming, we shall officially put that into practice, because your dad did very, very, very well. He died a hero. So I'm glad that his children are also working in its footsteps. You being the chairman of this Never Again campaign, I think Amazonians, Southern Cameroonians are lucky to have another generation of one of our patriots who left us fighting to see a free Southern Cameroon. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for the introduction. Those shoes that you talked about are extremely big for me to fill, but in my own humble way, I will do my best to navigate the ropes, especially in the places where, because documents are declassified, we did not have access. And documents were classified, we did not have access. But with the passage of time, we now have access to a lot of these documents. So the things that our patriarchs did, we have an opportunity to do them slightly differently and introduce just a little tweak that if they had the same tools, they would have introduced, and we would not have come to this place where we are today. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yes, thanks for coming. So maybe you just give a roundup statement, because it's time for us to go, a roundup statement about the Never Again campaign, how people can, where they can reach, how they can find it, how they can sign, and all of that.
Yes, thank you. The Never Again Global Campaigns can be accessed through our website, which is www.neveragainglobalcampaigns.org. Now, when you get to the website, you want to sign the petition. If you have any contributions in terms of ideas or questions that you want to send to us, you can as well do that. But the big question for me, real quick, Mark, I know you were running late, is why would I join a campaign like this? I would join a campaign like this because the resolution 1603 gave us 3 things to do on October 1st. It was just too much. The first one was that the trusteeship agreement was officially terminated on October 1st. The second thing was that we had independence as a country. It was officially implemented on October 1st. And the third one is that we had to join La République du Cameroun on October 1st. So when we call for the interpretation of this law, we want to know, our focus is on the aspect that granted independence. If we had independence then, and the options for us were independence by joining Nigeria or independence by joining La République du Cameroun, because of 2 assumptions, the first of which was that we were not a viable country financially, and the second was that we had communist inclinations. But today, those options have been debunked. Those assumptions, rather, have been debunked. There is no proof that we are not economically viable. There is no proof of communism in our nation. So we are saying that we want a referendum for Southern Cameroonians, indigenous Southern Cameroonians. Let us vote like our patriarchs voted in the early 60s to determine and say, do we want to maintain the 1961 federation, or do we want to have our identity back? Because some may call it separation, I will call it, the return of our identity, because the identity has been assimilated in La République du Cameroun. So that is what caused me to get into this campaign. And when I look at what is happening now, ground action that is going on, nobody can deny that. If you look at the history of this struggle from October 2016, you would notice that the first time that there was a reaction worldwide was because of what Comrade Cho Ayaba pulled off. And after that, the rhetoric has changed. The next time that there was another change in the dialogue was when the Tunisian was hurt. Now, I don't approve of hurting anybody, because every life is important. And I know that to defend yourself when pushed to the wall is a right. It's a human right that you have. And I also understand that there are moves like the move that we are doing right now. Had they not abducted our leaders, this struggle could have been in a different place. Was there a reason to abduct them? I don't think there was. So when we look at these things that are happening, as some believe in 100% ground defense, what we need to remind ourselves is that you have to push along with dialogue. Because in the end, after talking and talking and talking, you have to end on the table. But should they say that we want dialogue today, how prepared are we for that? So the Never Again campaign has not come to compete with any existing frontline organization. What we have come to do is to acknowledge the fact that our struggle is a marathon, and at the same time, it is a relay. And when you are running a marathon, there are always people on the roadside with water to give you, to refreshing you. So the Never Again campaign will be on the sidelines to refreshing our frontline leaders as they carry this, to the finish line. If there's any advice, if there's any information we have, we'll have to pass it on to them. So that's what we will be doing, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, the chairman of the Never Again campaign, for joining us. But I should also remind you people of the Never Again campaign that the feeling of Amazonians now is that we don't want to talk about dialogue. We want to talk about negotiations. We know that negotiation is part of dialogue, because when you negotiate, of course, you are dialoguing, you are talking to each other. But the idea, connotation of dialogue, the truth is that we say that, like some Amazonians are saying that we don't want people talking about the issue of federation also, because if you say federation, or like how my elder brother Bala is talking about federation, what we are challenging him is that for those who think that we still want to remain with this funny protocol La République, right? Challenge us to a free pools, challenge us to a free pools. Call for a referendum. Let the people talk. Call for a referendum.
That's right.
Even though we said we know that there is no war that doesn't end on the table. But before we reach on that table, something must happen to push. Because if we don't push La République, all our actions now, we are only reacting because they are acting. We are reacting because they are acting. So through our self-defense actions, let me use the word groundwork we will give the Never Again campaign more voice, because you will be able to stand in front of any people and say, you see, look what you point. But if there is no groundwork in Amazonia, you talk. You know how this community work. You talk. They will not hear you. Where will you point? But if you talk and you point, hey, look at Papa. People are being burnt. Look at Bonge. This is what we are saying, that if the people don't take into consideration the Never Again campaign, then what will happen in Amazonia may be worse than what happened in Rwanda. So I think this is the whole idea that Apo have, because they have officially embraced ground actions, and they are not going away from ground actions. At the same time, they are not rejecting that movements, groups should not go ahead with some diplomacy, because we need it. We need it because we are not vandals, we are not terrorists. We did it, and we have challenged like that. You say you want to talk. Now, before you talk, we don't talk when we have our leaders in jail. That would be betrayal.
That's correct.
We can't even talk when Mancho, Pentega, and others are in jail. That would be betrayal. We can't even talk when many of our people are in Nigeria. People are sleeping in the bushes. When people have to talk when their heads are calm, so that we will not make the mistake again we did in the past. And for now, before we talk, the UN that was involved with us, not even France, the UN that was not, I'm not UN, I beg your pardon, England. Because
that's correct.
You agree that England was just a trust territory. In fact, the UN gave us to India to it's like you going over there and say, neighbor, take care of my pikin at the camp. You know, so the UN just gave us to England as a trust to manage us. So why that person who was managing us has to be there, UN has to be there, and other people that they trust. La Republic might bring, okay, in me, I will trust, I will bring Russia, I will bring Korea and probably Ukraine. That's the people I trust to sit on the table so that they will also protect what I'm saying. La Republic, if you like, bring France, bring Netherlands. Me, I will bring Russia, I will bring Korea to sit on that table to also follow up so that you don't bully us. And we will sit on a round table. So we are just saying that we don't reject the idea of, in quotes, dialogue. We are saying that word dialogue is too big. We have narrowed that dialogue to negotiations. So we have to plead that as Never Again campaign is going out, talking to leaders. Please go with this sentiment, with this mentality that Amazonian South Cambodians are saying that they are now talking of a negotiation to negotiate the terms of separation. If the international community, if they doubt us, let them challenge us to a free and fair vote. We will go down to Amazonia, we will crisscross village by village, we will campaign, and there will be a vote. And those who think that they want to remain with the Republic, they will be free to also campaign. And we will see, because we have seen October 1st and September 22nd was the basis. Yes, it was enough to tell the people that this is what the people are thinking. So we challenge all of that. So once again, thank you, and God bless the Never Again campaign. I will continue. If you have any information that you want me to send out, please send to me. I will continue to inform our people to go and sign, so that as you are doing your own work behind the scene, they say to each man God has given his own talent. So we thank you for doing your own bit to see how you can help salvage the current crisis. So,
yes, Mark, right before you cut me off.
Yes, sir.
Right before that, please, I just want to say thank you also for giving us the opportunity to put out the campaign to others to know what we are doing. Now, it is important. I understand negotiation and I understand dialogue. And I understand that the concerns of the people have pushed us to the place where we want to call any type of dialogue negotiation. So we should just understand that and know that we of the Never Again campaign are out with the understanding that we must have a United Nations sponsored referendum in the Southern Cameroons. That referendum has to be for Southern Cameroonians, and we are doing some work right now to build up our own database. It's like a census of Southern Cameroonians down to the village quarter level, because we don't want the minister to give us a list and say this is the census of your people. So why we are calling for 1 million petitions also is because of the fact that the government of La République du Cameroon tells us that the voting population that we have is 850,000. So when we have 1 million petitions, we would have told the world that this is the position of the people of Southern Cameroons. I understand also, like you mentioned, that some people are not, they don't want to talk about federation. But what we should remember is that at this stage of the negotiations, we cannot disenfranchise some of these people. I personally approached someone who told me that they were for federation. After explaining to them what has happened and where we are going, what they told me is that if we have a free and fair election, a free and fair referendum, they are 100% Ambazonians. So what are we looking for? A United Nations sponsored referendum. We are calling for 12 to 18 months of preparation time, which will permit us to have the United Nations security forces on the ground to guarantee the security of the frontline leaders, name them ADF, SOCADEF, Morris, the interim government. All those people should be able to go into the Northwest region and the Southwest regions as they are called today, but that's what we know in history books as Southern Cameroons. Those, our leaders should be able to go there and crisscross and campaign and sell their points. It is up to those who say that they want 10-state federation to bring the videos and the pictures that tell the people that the best thing for us is to stay in a union with La République du Cameroun as 10 states. Or those who say that they want 2 states, let them also come and show to us the reasons why that is the best option. What I remember from our history is that Foncha brought stones to show that the Biafras threw stones at the Southern Cameroonians, so they cannot go back there. If they could use stones to convince a lot of people to vote in a referendum to join La République du Cameroun, I believe that all these images that are stored in the cloud will speak volume for what the outcome of a free and fair referendum will be. Thank you so much for giving me this extra minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you. We are going to be closing now. See you next time. Don't forget, if you have any information, Never Again campaign, we give you our blessings. Go ahead, but go ahead with the feelings that Ambazonians have, and may God bless you. Bye-bye.
I'm in touch with the people.
All right, Ambazonians, thanks very much for joining us. We are leaving now. It is already time. Thanks for joining us. Tomorrow again, we'll be live tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be bringing in Mr. Nzim, the presenter of the show in SBC. The producer of the show in SBC will be live tomorrow again on this platform for him to talk about another campaign, the Prisoners Without Conscience campaign. So thank you very much for being with us. Remember, keep strong, continue to support our resident forces, fund self-defense. Let us march on to send the Republic out of Ambazonia. Thank you. May God bless you. Ciao.